Welcome to Pastor Andrew's Inspirations. If you enjoy these videos, please click on the red subscribe button below and the bell for more. Welcome to our online church, a congregation made up of many from around the world. No offering is necessary. Subscribing and watching videos will keep us alive under God's watchful eyes. Today we will be learning about the ancient city of Jerusalem. Part 1. Jerusalem is a city in Western Asia, situated on a plateau in the Judaean Mountains, between the Mediterranean and the Dead Sea. It is one of the oldest cities in the world, and is considered to be a holy city for the three major Abrahamic religions: Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. Both Israelis and Palestinians claim Jerusalem as their capital, as Israel maintains its primary governmental institutions there, and the State of Palestine ultimately foresees it as its seat of power. Because of this dispute, neither claim is widely recognized internationally. Throughout its long history, Jerusalem has been demolished at least twice, overwhelmed 23 times, taken and retaken 44 times, and confronted 52 times. The part of Jerusalem, called the City of David, displays first signs of settlements in the 4th millennium BCE, in the shape of encampments of nomadic shepherds. During the Canaanite period, Jerusalem was named as Jerusalem on ancient Egyptian tablets, perhaps meaning City of Shalem, after a Canaanite deity. During the Israelite period, substantial construction activity in Jerusalem began in the Second Iron Age, and by the 8th century BCE. The city had industrialized into the religious and administrative center of the kingdom of Judah. In 1538, the city walls were restored for a last time around Jerusalem under Suleiman the Magnificent of the Ottoman Empire. Today those walls define the old city, which is being by tradition divided into 4 quarters, known since the early 19th century as the Armenian, the Christian, the Jewish, and the Muslim quarters. The old city became a World Heritage Site in 1981. Jerusalem is on the list of World Heritage in danger. Since 1860, Jerusalem has developed far beyond the old city's boundaries. In 2015, Jerusalem had a population of some 850,000 residents, comprising 200,000 Jewish Israelis, 350,000 Haredi Jewish, and 300,000 Palestinians. In 2016, the population was 882,700, of which Jewish comprised 536,600, or 61%, Muslims 319,800, or 36%, and Christians 15,800, or 2%, and 10,300 unclassified, 1%. According to the Hebrew Bible, King David conquered the city from the Jebusites and established it as the capital of the United Kingdom of Israel. And his son, King Solomon, appointed the building of the first temple. Modern scholars argue that the Jewish split out of the Canaanite people and culture through the growth of a distinct, monolaterous, and later monotheistic religion centered in El Yahweh. These initial events, spanning the dawn of the first millennium BCE, expected central symbolic significance for the Jewish people. The sobriquet of Holy City was perhaps attached to Jerusalem in post-exilic times. The holiness of the Jerusalem in Christianity, preserved in the Greek translation of the Hebrew Bible, which Christians adopted as their own Old Testament, was fortified by the New Testament account of Jesus' crucifixion and resurrection there. In Sunni Islam, Jerusalem is the third holiest city after Mecca and Medina. The city was the first Qibla, the standard direction for Muslim prayers or Salah. And in Islamic tradition, Muhammad made his night journey there in 621, ascending to heaven where he speaks to God, according to the Quran. As a result, despite having any area of only 3/8 of a square mile, the Old City is home to many sites of influential religious significance. Among them, the Temple Mount with its western wall, Dome of Rock, and Al-Aqsa Mosque, and the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. Today, the status of Jerusalem remains one of the core issues in the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. During the 1948 Arab-Israeli War, West Jerusalem was among the areas seized and later occupied by Israel, while East Jerusalem, including the Old City, was taken and later captured by Jordan. Israel took East Jerusalem from Jordan during the 1967 Six-Day War, and then successfully seized it into Jerusalem, together with additional surrounding territory. One of Israel's basic laws, the 1980 Jerusalem Law, refers to Jerusalem as the country's entire capital. All branches of the Israeli government are located in Jerusalem, including Israel's parliament, the residences of the Prime Minister and President, and the Supreme Court. The international community rejects the capture as illegal and treats East Jerusalem as Palestinian territory occupied by Israel. The name Jerusalem means foundation of the god Shalem. The god Shalem was thus the original tutelary deity of the Bronze Age city. Shalem or Shalem was the name of the god of dusk in the Canaanite region, whose name is based on the same root, SLM, from which the Hebrew word for peace is derived. The name thus offered itself to the city of peace, abode of peace, dwelling of peace founded in safety, or vision of peace in some books. The ending designates the dual, thus leading to the proposal that the name Yerushalayim refers to the fact that the city initially sat on two hills. The execration texts of the Middle Kingdom of Egypt, which refer to a city called Rusalimum or Yerazalimum or Rosh Raman, may indicate Jerusalem. The Amarna letters of Abdi Heba, which reference an Jerusalem, may be the earliest mention of the city. The form Yerushalem or Yerushalayim first appears in the Bible in the book of Joshua. According to a midrash, the name is a combination of two names united by God: Yireh, the abiding place, and Shalem, place of peace. One of the earliest Hebrew writing of the word Jerusalem is dated to the 6th or 7th century BCE, exposed in Khirbet Bet-Lay near Bet Givrin in 1961. The inscription states, "I am Yahweh thy God. I will accept the cities of Judah, and I will redeem Jerusalem." Or as other scholars suggest, Yahweh is the God of the whole earth. The mountains of Judah belong to him, to the God of Jerusalem. An older example of papyrus is known from the previous century. In extra-biblical inscriptions, the earliest known example of the ayam ending was revealed on a column about 3 kilometers west of ancient Jerusalem, dating to the 1st century BCE. The ancient settlement of Jerusalem, founded as early as Bronze Age on the hill above the Gihon Spring, according to the Bible, named Jebus, called the Fortress of Zion. It was renamed as the City of David and was known by this name in ancient times. Another name, Zion, initially referred to a distinct part of the city, but later came to signify the city as a whole, and afterwards to represent the whole biblical land of Israel. In Greek and Latin, the city's name was transcribed Hierosolima, meaning holy, although the city was renamed Aelia Capitolina for part of the Roman period of its history. The Aramaic Apocryphon of Genesis of the Dead Sea Scrolls equates Jerusalem with the early Salem, said to be the kingdom of Melchizedek in Genesis chapter 14. Other early Hebrew sources, early Christian renderings of the verse, and Targumim, however, put Salem in northern Israel, near Shechem, now Nablus, a city of some importance in early sacred Hebrew writing. Perhaps the reviser of the Apocryphon of Genesis wanted to detach Melchizedek from the area of Shechem, which at the time was in possession of the Samaritans. However that may be, later rabbinic sources also equate Salem with Jerusalem, mainly to link Melchizedek to later temple traditions. In Arabic, Jerusalem is most commonly known as the Holy or the Holy Sanctuary. Official Israeli government policy indicates that transcribed as Ursalem, which is the cognate of the Hebrew and English names he used as the Arabic language name for the city. Palestinian Arab families who hail from this city are often called Qadsi or Makdisi, while Palestinian Muslim Jerusalemites may use these terms as a demonym. Given the city's central position in both Zionism and Palestinian nationalism, the selectivity required to condense some 5,000 years of inhabited history is often swayed by ideological bias or background. Israeli or Jewish nationalists claim a right to the city based on Jewish ingenuity to the land, chiefly their origins in a descent from the Israelites, for whom Jerusalem is their capital, and their yearning for return. In contrast, Palestinian separatists claim the right to the city, based on modern Palestinians' long-standing presence and descent from many different peoples who have settled or lived in the region over the centuries. Both sides claim the history of the city has been politicized by the other in order to strengthen their relative claims to the city, and that this is borne out by the different focuses that writers place on the various events and eras in the city's history. The first archaeological evidence of human presence in the area comes in the form of flints dating to between 6,000 and 7,000 years old, with ceramic remains appearing during the Chalcolithic period, and the first signs of permanent settlement appearing in the early Bronze Age in 3000 to 2800 BCE. The earliest evidence of the city fortifications appear in the mid to late Bronze Age and could date to around the 18th century BCE. By around 1550 to 1200 BCE, Jerusalem was the capital of an Egyptian vassal city-state, a modest settlement governing a few outlying villages and pastoral areas, with a small Egyptian garrison, and ruled by appointees such as King Abdi-Heba at the time of Seti I, 1290 to 1279, and Ramesses II, 1279 to 1213. Major construction took place as prosperity increased. The city's inhabitants at this time were Canaanites, who are believed by scholars to have evolved into the Israelites via the development of a distinct Yahweh-centric monotheistic belief system. Archaeological remains from the ancient Israelite period include the Siloam Tunnel, an aqueduct built by Judahite King Hezekiah, once containing an ancient Hebrew inscription known as the Siloam inscription. The so-called Broad Wall, a defensive fortification built in the 8th century BCE by Hezekiah. The Silwan necropolis with the monolith of Silwan and the tomb of the royal steward, which were decorated with monumental Hebrew inscriptions, and the so-called Israelite Tower, remnants of ancient fortifications built from large, sturdy rocks with carved corners. A huge water reservoir dating from this period was discovered in 2012 near Robinson's Arch, indicating the existence of a densely built-up quarter across the area west of the Temple Mount during the Kingdom of Judah. When the Assyrians conquered the Kingdom of Israel in 722 BCE, Jerusalem was strengthened by a great influx of refugees from the northern kingdom. When Hezekiah ruled, Jerusalem had no fewer than 25,000 inhabitants and covered 25 acres. This was the ancient city of Jerusalem. Please stay tuned for the second part. Adonai Nisi, the Lord is our banner. Remember, if you like these videos, please click on the red subscribe button below and the bell for more. God's blessings be upon us all.